Hey everybody, how's it going? B Temple back again, and today we've got something that's, I guess, fairly new, not seen very often. What we've got is a new style, or I guess a new packaging style of the Canadian IMP. So we've got beef macaroni, menu number 8 here, and this has only been reviewed, as far as I know, so far, by 2 other people. So Steve 1989 did the first review of the new style, and then Smitty also has one as well. His, I believe, was menu number 9, and I believe Steve did menu number 12. I haven't seen like a full case of these yet, but I managed to get my hands on one of these new ones. So I'm looking forward to being, I guess, one of the first few people to get a chance to review one of these. So just to sort of show the main difference, this is a standard, or what was a standard Canadian IMP in the brown, you know, paper bag kind of idea, which also has this sort of foil lining. One of the major, I guess, knocks against these over time is the fact that they're not quite waterproof. So, you know, you dunk this thing in water and it will actually get water inside. And, you know, it's not quite as good for if you don't eat the entire thing. Even something as simple as using it for refuse or for whatever need you would have for a resealable pouch. So they've gone with this sort of mylar pouch with a tear tab, and that's how we're going to open it up. And then obviously it's got the reseal. For this one here, you can see the profile is rectangular, and there's really not a whole lot else aside from like a QR code, and, you know, like the Canadian military on Facebook. For these, the profile is kind of triangular slightly, which makes me wonder how these are packed in cases. Like I said, I haven't seen a full case yet. I wonder if like they're packed, some are packed this way and then they pack the next one upside down. They do it sort of interlocking like that. Maybe it saves a little bit of space. And but anyway, we'll see. On the back, we've got what your main is and what your dessert is for these new IMP starting in 2020. These new resealable pouches, they've gotten rid of the cardboard, so nothing's in cardboard anymore. So the beef macaroni and the sliced pears will be in just their retort pouches. So I've reviewed this menu before, the 2019 version of it actually, and I did that review just a little over 2 years ago. I believe it was like the 1st or 2nd of August back in 2019. So we're 2 years later looking at the same exact menu. And that was a 2019 beef macaroni, so we've got a 2020 beef macaroni. So we'll see also if there's any differences between some of the components that are inside. I believe that one from 2019, I had to go back and sort of review it again. I had like tortillas, a Mars bar, I think it was like peanut, butter, and banana trail mix, and sliced pears, and a few other things like that. I think it might have been grape drink. I can't 100%, I don't remember the drink exactly. But, yeah. So, let's get this thing open, and we'll see what we've got inside. So we've got this little, almost like dog bone shaped section. Pull this open, and there's your resealable part. There we go. And let's have a look at the components. So we've got our main and our desserts. We've got sliced pears, and these were all actually packed at the very tail end of 2019. So there we go. We've got tortillas. These are in a slightly different looking pack than the previous ones. I think the previous tortillas, the writing was done in portrait mode instead of landscape mode. And these are packed actually the 29th day of 2020. So these are actually a 2020 item. Everything is exactly the same so far. We got ourselves a Mars bar. And we've got this here, which I've yet to see. It's just called peanut mix. So it's peanuts, maple sugar, icing sugar, glucose, maple syrup. So artificial butter flavor. It's kind of an odd choice to add in, but anyway, we'll see what this is like. I don't know why it would be called peanut mix if it's, unless they've done something different where the peanuts are done, you know, sort of roasted and salted, and then there's some that have like, I guess, like maybe a maple sugar coating on them. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see when we open it up. 2 orange sports drinks, and I'm pretty sure, and actually now that I look at it, that these are orange was what was in the 2019 that I reviewed. So and these were packed the 255th day of 2019. So most of this stuff is from the tail end of that year. Got a peanut butter and a strawberry jam, same as before. So I guess aside from this, they've switched out the peanut butter and banana trail mix with peanut mix. Otherwise, literally everything else is exactly the same from the 2019 version of this menu I've reviewed. Got our beverage bag and our Nescafe Sweet and Creamy, so 3 in 1. We've got matches, Tic Tacs, their compressed Canadian napkin, and a Tabasco sauce. And we've got our long Canadian spork and the large brown paper towel. So that's that, guys. Have a look inside. That's the pouch, still foil lined, Mylar, and then you can reseal this one. So, you know, it's a big step forward, I think, for the Canadian Armed Forces to finally have a ration that you can reseal, and it's actually fully waterproof. I know it's a little bit hard to move away from something that we've seen now since the 1980s. I know at first it would have been in white. I can't remember the exact year when they switched over to sort of the brown colored paper. But yeah, this is something that a lot of people are used to seeing. It was sort of the ubiquitous when it comes to Canadian IMPs, the sort of bagged lunch kind of idea. But from this point on, this is how they're going to be packed. So, let's get everything all trayed up and get some things heated up, and then let's give everything a try. I mean, most of us have seen the vast majority of the items here. I think the only thing that's a bit of a surprise is this peanut mix. We'll see how that turns out. All right, everyone. So this is everything all laid out. We've got our orange sports drink. We've got our tortillas. One I'll make, you know, PB&J wraps. We got our strawberry jam and our peanut butter. Got our sliced pears, Mars bar, and our beef macaroni. And this is our peanut mix. So like I assumed it was going to be, we've got a mix of, looks like salted and roasted peanuts, and then sort of glazed, pralined, whatever you want to call them, sweet peanuts, I guess. So it was, we'll see how different this is, and we'll see how they work out. The Canadian IMPs aren't known for their, you know, I guess going crazy off the board when it comes to brand new items. A lot of the time, major changes you're going to find are going to be with that sort of pouched side that you get. You know, they're going to make slight variations of trail mixes or fruit or whatever, that kind of thing. So yeah, let's dive in a little bit. We'll try out our PB&J wrap first while I let the beef macaroni cool down a little bit. So that's pretty good enough. I probably could have spread things out a little bit more, but that's okay. We'll give this a try first. Peanut butter's certainly gummy, so let's cleanse the palate a little bit. Try some of our orange sports drink. And yeah, those Dr. Oetker sports drinks, those are so much better than beverage-based powder from USMREs. Like it's two completely different worlds, basically. So yeah, let's try the beef macaroni. Actually, it's probably cooled down enough for anyone from like a nostalgic standpoint who grew up with Chef Boyardee. This will look very akin to beefaroni. Now, beefaroni wasn't my favorite growing up as a kid. I used to enjoy the it's like the rotini pasta with the small meatballs. That was probably my favorite one, aside from just the beef ravioli. But yeah, I used to have Chef Boyardee a fair bit as a child. But this particular menu here is probably one of my favorite IMP ones. It usually tastes really, really good. And it's, you know, it's a step up from sort of canned pasta and stew kind of thing. So let's give this a try. Beef macaroni. Yeah, that's delicious. And that's exactly what it is. It's slightly elevated Chef Boyardee. That's the best way to put it. I mean, this is not going to be, it's not amazing. You're not going to mistake it for, you know, some of the mains that you'd find in a in a French ration or some of the freeze-dried ration items you'll find, you know, in other European countries. But for what it is, it's delicious and it does its job. So, yeah, let's try some more of it. You can see there's a little bit of onion in the sauce. There's a lot of it. You know, they don't skimp on the size. I find for Canadian IMPs, you get a little bit more liquid than you would say for American retort pouch MREs. But that's okay. Because it seems like the quality of the products sometimes are a little bit better. Now, I can't remember actually if this was something that's actually made in the United States or if it's made in Canada. Because some of the mains that Canadian IMPs have are actually manufactured in the US, not here in Canada. Let's have one more bite and then move on. Yeah, that's delicious. I'm definitely going to finish that. So, move on to some of the other items, I guess. Try out some of our pears. So you get 5 nice, sizable segments. That's the one good thing now about the spork spoon, well, as it falls off. But for the most part, you can actually skewer your fruit a little bit easier compared to the older, especially the long white spoon. It was a little bit difficult to eat something like the fruit mix with something like that. But anyway, let's give this pear a try. This is probably the favorite fruit of mine when it comes to IMPs. Maybe apples would be like a close tie for first. But if I get pears or apples, I'm usually a lot happier than if I got, you know, fruit cocktail or peaches. And yeah, those are perfect, nice and crisp. They taste like your standard canned pears, which once again is perfectly okay. Especially if you grew up eating, you know, canned fruit. It's something that you're used to, you know. One thing I did forget to do. It's kind of weird that they give you tortillas with this meal. You know, one never would have thought ever in your life, like, hey, yeah, let's have some Chef Boyardee and put it in a tortilla and make a wrap out of it. But that's what we'll try with this one. There's really not enough jam and peanut butter to go around for 2 of those wraps, but we'll try to make a small one here out of this stuff. So let's try to make this half sensible without having all of it spill out. So yeah, let's give our beef macaroni wrap a try. It's not the most efficient vehicle, I guess, to eat the main with. I really miss having the rectangular bread in IMPs. I still, even though it's been around for several years, I'm not a huge fan of them hamburger bun. I always find it's a lot drier than what the rectangular bun of bread used to be. So yeah, and getting tortillas and something like this just seems so strange. But anyway, let's cleanse the palate a little bit before we move on to the, I guess, the final dessert type items. The tortillas themselves are okay. Usually when you get these retort pouch tortillas, they do certainly have a little bit of a chemically taste. Obviously they're meant to be preserved. But where these ones are, you know, they're a little over a year old, but they're not actually that bad compared to some of the other ones that you probably would have had even if you open up an IMP or an MRE from, you know, 2018 or something like that. You know, it tastes somewhat fresh. Something like this, I'm sure if it was heated up, you know, on like an actual hot pan, made a little crispy, probably would take a little bit of that floury taste off of it. But for what it is, it's actually not that bad. So, let's try out our peanut mix. So, I think there's just 2 different types here. I think we've just got regular salted peanuts and these sort of glazed praline type peanuts. But let's give it a try, see if we can really pick up on that maple flavor, because they made it seem like these are going to be mapley. Yeah, and those are quite good. Like I said, the non-shellacked, the non-coated ones are just simple roasted and salted peanuts. Not overly salty, but there does seem to be just a little tiny hint of it. But yeah, the glazed ones, the pralined ones, they're not heavy on the maple flavor. When you take a big handful like I did, you certainly do get it. And if you're someone who loves maple, that's going to be great. If you're someone who's not a huge fan of maple, which I wouldn't call myself a huge fan of maple, it's still good. It's just teetering on the edge of being too much maple flavor for someone who's not, you know, a big lover of it. And our final item to try out, guys. As per usual, I'm not making up the coffee. Anyone who's watched my reviews before knows I don't really like coffee. I don't feel the need of mixing it up because I'm just not going to drink it. And I don't really feel like I need the Tabasco sauce for this. Usually when I get hot sauce in a ration, I normally don't put it in the main. For me, I find hot sauce doesn't add much to the flavor of things for me. If I had a choice, I'd throw some black pepper in as opposed to hot sauce. But yeah, so there's really not a whole lot else to try except for our Mars bar. It's actually in pretty good shape. Not really any bloom per se, so that's pretty good, seeing this thing is, you know, like a year and a half old. But let's give it a try. And yeah, that's a perfect Mars bar. If you walked into a store and bought one like today, you wouldn't see any difference between it and that, which shows sometimes that good storage conditions can really make these things last. Canadian IMPs are known for having chocolate still in its commercial packaging, and sometimes they do not stand up to any test of time. I've had some IMP chocolate bars which are only 2 years old, and they're already gone horribly bad. You know, horrible bloom, dried out. They taste horrible, and you know, when you usually get past 5-6 years, no matter how good the storage conditions are, I find they really start to deteriorate. But this one here, and it's only a year and a half old, like I said, this has been a great ration. Literally no complaints whatsoever about it. Like I usually would say, I wish you would probably go to, you know, bread as opposed to tortillas or something like this, but I guess beggars can't be choosers, I guess. I'm not on the board that selects how menus are put together for this kind of thing. So, this has been a Menu 8 beef macaroni, new resealable style Canadian IMP. And really enjoyed trying this out, and I'm glad to finally find one of these. It's been a bit of a search, and I was very lucky to be able to get one. And I think I may possibly have a few more lined up. We'll see what the future brings. So guys, I'd like to thank you all for stopping by. Hopefully we can get another review done again quickly. Summer's slowly coming to a close here in a couple weeks' time. All that stuff. So yeah, hopefully we can get another review out to you all soon. So thanks for giving this a watch, and everybody have a good one.